On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 departed Kuala Lumpur International Airport, bound for Beijing. On board were 227 passengers and 12 crew members, all expecting a routine overnight flight. The Boeing 777 was in excellent condition, the crew experienced, and weather reports indicated no immediate hazards. Everything about the takeoff seemed normal. Yet hours later, the aircraft had vanished without a trace. There were no distress calls, no emergency signals, and for the world, an unsolvable mystery had begun. The flight climbed smoothly, entering controlled airspace as scheduled. At 1:19 a.m., the captain transmitted the flight's final verified message. "Good night, Malaysian 370. Moments after, the aircraft's transponder, the system that allows radar tracking, was unexpectedly switched off. This single action removed the plane from civilian radar. At that instant, Flight 370 became invisible to standard monitoring systems, a scenario that should have been impossible in the modern age of aviation. Military radar later revealed shocking details. The plane had turned sharply west, crossing back over the Malaysian peninsula instead of continuing toward Beijing. It then flew out over the Andaman Sea. This was no accidental deviation. The turn was smooth, controlled, and precise, suggesting that someone was actively piloting the aircraft. The question of intent became immediate and unavoidable. Did this represent a deliberate act by someone on board, or was it a result of an unknown mechanical failure? No definitive answer would emerge. For several hours after disappearing from civilian radar, Flight 370 continued its silent journey. Automated satellite handshakes, brief signals sent between the aircraft and a communications satellite, confirmed that the plane remained airborne. These pings did not transmit location, altitude, or status, only the fact that the aircraft was still functioning. Over 7 hours, it traversed thousands of miles, leaving only a faint electronic footprint that investigators struggled to interpret. Using the timing and frequency of these satellite signals, investigators calculated potential flight paths. Two arcs emerged, one stretching north toward Central Asia and one south into the vast expanse of the Indian Ocean. Analysis favored the southern path, a lonely stretch of ocean far from land where any crash would almost certainly leave no survivors and minimal wreckage. The search that followed became the most expensive and extensive in aviation history. Planes scoured the sky, ships combed the ocean, and underwater drones probed thousands of square miles of ocean floor. Despite this unprecedented effort, the main wreckage was never recovered. Only scattered fragments, confirmed through serial numbers and identification, were found washed onto distant shores, providing grim evidence that the plane had ended its flight in deep water. Investigators considered every possible explanation: mechanical failure, onboard fire, hijacking, and even deliberate actions by the pilots were examined. Yet no single theory accounted for all evidence. The silence of the plane's journey, combined with its precise and deliberate movements, continues to baffle experts. Modern aviation systems, designed to prevent exactly this type of disappearance, had failed to provide clear answers. Technical details of the flight highlight how unusual the disappearance was. The aircraft's autopilot was capable of maintaining long-distance flight with little human input, yet radar data indicated active control for much of the flight. The communication satellite system, known as Inmarsat, provided limited pings rather than detailed telemetry, leaving investigators with hours of flight path but no concrete location. Small clues, such as changes in speed and altitude, hinted at complex interactions between pilot input, autopilot settings, and mechanical limitations, but they could not produce a definitive explanation. Flight 370 reshaped aviation protocols worldwide. Airlines and regulators accelerated the adoption of real-time aircraft tracking systems and strengthened safety protocols to ensure that no aircraft could ever disappear without leaving a clear trace. Yet, even with these changes, the human cost and unanswered questions remain immense. Families of those on board still struggle with uncertainty. For them, the loss is compounded by the fact that the full story may never be known. Ultimately, Flight 370 stands as a chilling reminder of how fragile modern systems can be, even in an era of advanced technology. The plane's disappearance was not only a technical puzzle, but also a human tragedy, and its legacy continues to influence aviation safety to this day. While the search may have ended, and while some debris has been recovered, the central question persists. The plane is gone, the passengers are gone, and the world is left to ask the same haunting question: why?